Hey guys, so today I wanted to get on here and speak about a very difficult topic, and a topic that I think most people would avoid talking about. And I say that because I avoided talking about it for a long time. And so suicide, that is the topic that I want to discuss today, and I want to open up about that today. And it's not easy to talk about, but the thing that got me wanting to make a video about this is because once again today at work, I had a friend of mine confide in me and tell me that another close friend of hers grandson had committed suicide, and her son had done the same thing not too long ago. You know, when it comes to suicide, this is something, unfortunately, and it's very sad, that happens all the time. And if you look at statistics and you just research the amount of people that die every year due to taking his or her own life, it's astronomical. It would blow your mind. And I didn't even take the time to do any research before I made this video, but feel free to just Google it. But I wanted to open up and share a bit of my story in hopes that maybe it will help somebody, just one person. And if it's one person, that's enough for me. So I'll just get into it. When I was in college, so we go to college, we're like 18. So I was a sophomore in college. So I was probably 19 years old, almost 20 at the time. And at the time, I was on top of the world, on the world that everyone could see. I was being very successful as a college baseball player. I was fairly popular. I had a lot of what you would call respect from peers and from people around me, and had some people that looked up to me for whatever reason. And you know, at one point, and it makes me sad to even think about this, but I had a friend that said, "Man, like, I'm jealous of you." And I remember telling this person, I said, "You have no idea what you're talking about," because what he didn't know is what I would not open up and tell anyone. And this is kind of how it went down. My sophomore year of college, I was coming to the end of my sophomore year, and it was a junior college, so I didn't know where I would go for the last 2 years of school. And I was kind of lost. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do for my career, for my life. And not only that, but you know, I moved away from home, and I'm in college, and I'm, you know, getting ready to prepare to go into adulthood, and just looking around and, you know, comparing myself to other people, and comparing myself to other people that are successful and cool and all this stuff. And instead of me being on the side of comparison of like, I'm doing really good, I went on the side of comparison of like, I'm just not good enough. You know, like, I don't have what it takes. I'm not going to be successful. And I just was very insecure. And I think it's easy to get caught up in comparison. And especially when you're making big transitions in life, it's easy to go through a phase of like trying to find yourself and find your place in that environment, find your zone, if you will. So anyways, there was about a period of 6 months where I was just in a really dark place on the inside. Now remember, I said on the outside, everyone thought like, yo, Les is, you know, one of the leaders on the baseball team. He's got a lot of friends. He speaks and tries to encourage people, and he's, you know, seems happy and seems kind of, I don't even want to say I was cool. Looking back, I was cool then compared to now. But, you know, on the outside, everyone thought I had everything together. You know, my family is amazing. I didn't really have any traumatic things happen, but I just had like a very dark season where I, like, all the fears of life and going into life and like not knowing if I would be able to have what it took to be successful, comparing myself, like all this stuff that we battle in our minds got me to a dark place where for the first time, and it got so dark that I had that thought of suicide. Now, I didn't plan anything or I didn't try anything, but I thought about it. And then I continued to think about it day after day after day. And it was something that I couldn't get off my chest because I didn't feel comfortable. I wasn't going to share that with anyone. And I had to keep this, this respect. Some people like look up to me and like, I didn't want to appear weak. I didn't want to appear crazy. I didn't want to appear like, oh man, I'm struggling, because I was supposed to be a leader, and I think we all are leading someone. If we're parents, then we want to be strong, and we want to be the strong one for our families and our wives, or you for your husband and for your kids and for your families and people you work with. Like, none of us want to appear weak. No one. So it's really hard to open up, and be vulnerable and say, hey, this is what's actually going on. And a really like crazy story that honestly changed my life. And I don't say that about many things, but this night changed my life forever. And here's what happened. So you already know the place that I was in. I was playing baseball. Everything on the outside was great. The world that people saw me living in was perfect. But on the inside, I was in a dark place. In my head, in my heart, I was in a dark place. So I finally go to what they call BCM, which is a Baptist Christian ministry. So it's like a Christian gathering. And it was like after baseball practice one night, I decided to walk over and across the street. It was actually across the street from our baseball field. So I walked over there, and I didn't know what to expect at, what was going on, what they had going on that night or whatever. And for whatever reason, I went out back, and there were some cool guys playing cornhole. And I was like, man, I want to smoke these dudes and some I want to throw some baggers right here. So anyways, I got back there and got to, slinging bags and having a good time and just shooting the bull with these guys. And I was, they're pretty cool dudes. Well, this one guy, we were just back there talking, and I guess he could kind of tell that I was hanging out, but I wasn't all there. Like, I was there, but I wasn't there, if you've ever felt like that. And he was like, hey, bro, I was like, you good? And I was like, yeah, man, I'm good. He's like, no, seriously, like, you good? Like, what's going on? I was like, nah, man. Well, this dude just finally, I don't know how long, like, this had been after, like, months and months of struggling. And it was just him. It was nighttime. Everybody else was on the inside. I knew he was a pretty cool dude. I was like, what the heck? I might as well just... And he finally got me to open up and say, I said, well, man, to be honest, like, I've been having, like, suicidal thoughts. And his response, like, blew me away. Here's what he said. He was like, dude, you're... No way, bro. He was like, I've been having suicidal thoughts for so long, and he's like, I have been wanting to tell someone, but I have not told anyone. And we started talking about it, and the feeling I had of like connecting with another person that's struggling with the same thing as me instantly started healing me, right? And then the next part gets even better. So then I'm sitting down talking to this guy, and I can't even remember his name. Another guy walks out. He's like, what are you guys talking about? Hannah, forgive me. This is a long time ago, but I think I said, talking about, chicks, babes, females. I was being stupid, trying to be funny and cool at the time. And he's like, no, for real, what are y'all talking about? And I was like, bro, I just told you what we're talking about. He was like, no, but for real. I'm like, dude, I'm about to have to just, lie again at the Christian ministry. So the guy was, all right, tell him. So finally I just told him, I said, dude, to be honest, me and this, I think I threw the guy under the bus, like me and this guy both have been struggling with suicidal thoughts and just been depressed, and in a dark place. And the dude almost started crying, and he was like, bro, you don't understand. Like, guys, he said, I literally just got back from rehab, He said, because I had walked down a dirt road with a pistol in my hand and was about to end my life. And he said, and I just got back from rehab. He's like, dude, and y'all, when I tell you, like, it blew my mind, because those guys and myself in a second became like family, and we started talking about what was going on and immediately started getting healing, you know, just getting stuff off your chest, man, and talking about something that you're going through. It's amazing what that does. And you know, I said all this, I shared this because just so you know, like, I hope no one that sees this is worried about me. I'm in a really good place, man. I would honestly say I'm as good and healthy as I've ever been in my life right now, and I'm just so grateful and thankful of where I'm at in life. But that came on the backside of some real hard seasons that I've lived through and learned through, and that's part of the reason why I make these videos. That night, when I say that night changed my life forever, it did, because I learned an extremely valuable thing, that until that moment, I wanted to be a leader, and I wanted people to look up to me as someone who was strong. And so but I didn't have no help. I couldn't get no help because I was honestly being prideful, and I didn't realize it at the time. But when I finally shared my struggles and my weaknesses and saw the impact that it had on me, and then also somehow was able to help them as well, that was a life-changing moment for me. And so a lot of times I share my struggles and I share my weaknesses, not because, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like, it's just amazing when you finally open up and share with people what's really going on, the way that it helps you connect with people, and you realize that you're not alone. And many times, back to suicide, many times people get to that dark place because you sincerely feel like, one, the thing that you're struggling with, no one would understand. And two, you're ashamed to tell anyone that you're struggling with that, and definitely ashamed to tell anyone that little thing there, that thing has you so depressed that you would even have the thought of ending your life prematurely. But the truth is, you're not alone. And I guarantee you, I promise you, whatever it is that you're going through right now, someone else very, very close to you is going through the exact same thing. And guys, like I said, right now my life is so good, man. And it's humbling, and I'm not bragging. It's actually, I mean, I don't even know, but it's just so good. And not that long ago, I was thinking about just getting out of this life. You know, I would have missed out on all this. I would have missed out on all these amazing times and all these amazing people in my life, and all of the crazy stuff that's happened in my life since then. It's been amazing. I could have never come up with that, could have never scripted that, but I couldn't see it. And it's like, you know, if you're in Jacksonville and you're in Florida, a lot of times it rains and there's flash floods, and dude, it can get dark in a hurry. You're chilling at the pool. Like, I was at the pool the other day, and out of nowhere, the security guard comes out, and he's like, hey guy, you might want to head back to your apartment. It's about to flood. And dude, it got dark so quick. And at first I was like, bro, I'm a grown man. I've got the weather app. But he was right. And as soon as I got in the house, it started pouring. So I'm glad he told me. But my point is, with that, when the clouds in your head, when it gets really dark, and it can happen slowly or it can happen fast, and you just get in a dark place, the truth is, like, those clouds are going to move. And there's always a sun behind that. There's always a clear sky out there. But in that moment, you can't see that. And the thing is, if you linger on suicide, you have no idea how you're limiting your life. I mean, you only get this life. You know, who knows what's after this? I know heaven and hell and, you know, all these different religions, but I tell you this, you got one shot at this awesome experience on earth with these people around you, and this isn't a video game. You don't respawn, man. You get one chance at this thing, and if you watch any awesome movie, any adventure movie, what you're going to see is like, first thing I think about is Pirates of the Caribbean or Lord of the Rings or any Braveheart, any type of awesome, like, exciting war battle movie. Like, there's ups and downs, and that's what makes it exciting, and that's what makes life exciting. And you're gonna go through hard times, and you're gonna feel isolated at times, and you're gonna have dark storms and seasons that, yeah, on the outside, the world that everyone sees, the world that you're in, looks great to everyone, but the world that's in you that no one sees but you, sometimes you don't see that you'll ever have peace or happiness or anything like that again. But it's not true. And man, I wish that you could be me for the last 10 years and just see how hopeless I felt when I was younger, and at these moments where I didn't know if life would be good for me, and then experience it now. And the thing is, I couldn't see it then. And I just wish, man, that if you're watching this and you've ever had a suicidal thought, first of all, most everyone on planet Earth, whether you want to admit it or not, has probably had a suicidal thought. I had a medical professional tell me, it was a friend of mine, it was about 3 months ago. She told me, she said, you know, studies have shown most humans have a suicidal thought. Like, most everyone has. So first of all, if you have had that, well, guess what? You're normal. Most everyone has. Second of all, if you continue to have a thought like that, it's probably because you're feeling hopeless right now, because you got something that you're struggling with that you're too ashamed to tell anyone. But that's a lie, man, because look, someone probably less than 100 feet is literally sitting in their chair thinking the same thing right now. And all it will take is you open it up and talking to someone, and you'll start healing immediately. Now, I'm offering this. If you're out there and you're seeing this and you have had those thoughts, or you've got something going on in your life right now that you're too ashamed to share with anyone, I mean, I'm here, man, and I mean that. I've been through a lot of stuff, and my closest friends know about most of it, because I'm way past the point of being too ashamed to talk about my weaknesses and my struggles. But I'm telling you, I will listen, and there's nothing too embarrassing to talk about. There's nothing too shameful to admit, man. I just wish you could understand how sincere I'm being when I say that. And I wish I could just jump through the daggum camera and just hug you, man, and tell you, like, yo, you're normal, you know, and it's going to be okay, and we're going to get through it. So the last thing I want to leave you with, and the last few things actually, is a lot of times if you suffer with anxiety or depression, one thing that's really important is for you to have a routine. You know, you need to have some sort of routine in your life. So have a schedule, man. Have a routine. You know, if you go to work, you need to have some sort of routine where you don't have too much idle time, where you just don't have nothing to do but sit around and think yourself into a depression. So find yourself some routine in life. Get on a schedule. Sleep, wake up, work out, which leads to the second thing, exercise. You know, exercise is the leading healer of anxiety and depression for many people. It's the number one coping thing that I use for anxiety and depression. It does something, man. When you exercise and do cardio, it releases, I believe it's in dopamine, and it's like happy chemicals, endorphins in your brain that make you feel happy. And just exercising alone is so good for your mental health. Another thing is rest. Now, when I say rest, that is different from sleep. So rest meaning don't overwork yourself. Don't overcommit. Don't overschedule your life. Don't have every minute of your day just booked so that you can't rest. I mean, time wasted, they say, like Netflix or whatever, just sitting out is wasted time. It's not if you enjoy it. It's not if you're happy doing nothing, then please, by all means, go home and just chill, just relax, just rest. There was a time in my life I ended up in the hospital. I got the flu, and what the doctors told me is that, dude, you've burned yourself out. You have worked yourself. Your immune system is shot out. Nervous system shot out. Like, you can't be working so much. You've got to rest. The next thing, sleep. Sleep is critical. If you don't put a priority on sleep, and I need to do better with this one. I've been feeling really good, but I still need to focus on getting some more sleep. They say 6 to 8 hours. So these are just basic, general, like, you got to do these things. You need a routine. You need to exercise. You need to rest. Don't overwork and overbook yourself and live your whole life for money. Like, you got to find time to relax and chill. And the last thing is sleep. So, man, God loves you, and God created you uniquely, and this life is so good. And no, we can't always see that, because like I said, any exciting, awesome movie, if your life is a movie, like, to make it an amazing film, an amazing story, you're going to have to go through some storms and the thrill and excitement of the challenges. Life has its scenes in the movie that are dark and not comfortable and scary and challenging, but you don't know the end, and God does. And just know God loves you. And as weird as it sounds, I do too, man. I wish whoever you are, if you're struggling with that, please hit me up. We'll talk about it. We'll meet up and we'll chat about it, man. So other than that, just know suicide, you're not alone if you've had those thoughts. And one last thing, I promise this is the last thing, and this is something that helped me when I was struggling with that, and it really was one of the final things that when I started doing this, it was a very fast, it done away with those thoughts. And this is what you got to do. You got to learn to talk to yourself. Now, just hear me. When everyone talks, we all talk to ourselves. But the question is, how do you talk to yourself? So these are the words that I use that got me away from those thoughts. It's not an option. It's not an option. So you've got the external person in your life that everyone sees, and then you've got your internal person that you know about, that you have your thoughts and your feelings and all this stuff that you're battling all day long, and frustrations and all this feelings and emotions and thoughts, and you're talking to yourself through your next moves. Like, that's the person that only you know about. Now, in your head and in your heart, when that thought of suicide pops up, or you even have that thought, the first thing you should say to yourself, it's not an option. That's not even an option. Like, just talk about it as if that's not even an option. That's just stupid. Like, it's not an option. Because many times we allow thoughts to get stuck in our head and plans to get stuck in our head because we don't stop them. So you have to get used to coaching yourself up, man, talking yourself, counseling yourself, leading your own life, and having control of your own thoughts. So next time, and that's with anything, if you're having any thought, if you have a thought that anything that you don't want to do, like for me right now, doing a hardcore keto diet, whenever I even think about ice cream, which I freaking love ice cream, first thing I say in my head, it's not an option. Like, that's not even an option. So I'm just going to be hungry until I wake up tomorrow. Or I'm just going to go eat a boiled egg or something like that, you know? Same thing with the suicidal stuff. If you have a thought, that's not an option. I will have anxiety and I will be scared, and if I have to live with whatever is making me feel this way for the next 100 years, I'm going to, because that's not an option. Just take it off the table. It's just like when you're married, divorce. It's not an option. There's certain things in life that you have to put in the "it's not an option" cabinet in your brain. Whenever you have a thought that tries to tempt you with that, it's not an option. And then you go to work accepting whatever you're struggling with. And I would encourage you, talk to someone about it. Love you guys. I really hope that this helps someone, just one person. I would be happy. If no one else, it helped me. And it's been a pleasure to share this with you. See you on the next video.